We are here for a review hearing today. We're conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. Okay, Olga is with us today. Good morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Tasia McIntyre is my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Olga.
Janelle Garrett for CASA.
Okay. Ms. McIntyre, I've reviewed the report, of course, but what do we have new about Miss Olga?
Nothing new. She's actually starting to settle in at the QRTP, doing well. I saw her yesterday. We laughed quite a bit. She's doing better. The smile on her face is coming out more and more every day. So I can truly say she is adapting to the program at the QRTP and doing well.
Right. How long has she been there?
That was a question I wasn't expecting to ask. A couple of months. Right. I've seen her twice at the QRTP and she's doing really well. There in the beginning, it was rough. I was a little worried, but she's starting to trust her staff.
Okay, good. All right. Anything else to report?
Not at all. I'm just super proud of her. And it's been a long road and she's starting to climb.
Okay. All right. Well, I like that smile on her face too.
And Judge, just for the court, I believe we approved the placement in the QRTP in October.
Okay.
The original placement.
All right. Okay. Well, Ms. Zavala?
I am also very proud of Olga. I loved seeing her smile when we visited the other day. And more important than Tasia or myself being proud of her, I think Olga's proud of herself. And I'm just really happy to see that. I'm just excited for her.
Okay, good deal. And Ms. Garrett with CASA?
I'll just have to repeat everything everybody else said. She is doing fantastic. Like was said, she did have kind of a rough start, but she's settled down and she's doing really good. I'm just real proud of her.
Okay. Well, Olga, you got a lot of people in your corner rooting for you.
Thank you.
How's school going?
Good.
Did you have a good Christmas break?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always kind of nice to get that break, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. You got any concerns or any questions today?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, things are going pretty well then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you feel like everybody else does? Like this is working out well for you?
Now it is, because I think I had to restart because I didn't want to believe that everybody was actually going to be there. And that's what I've struggled with for a long time. So now that I know that people actually care is actually helpful.
Okay. Well, lots of folks care. So I'm just happy that you're doing so well.
Thank you.
Just keep up the good work. Okay. All right, then I'm going to continue Olga's current placement, and I'll continue the department as permanent managing conservator, and we will have another review hearing June 20th of 2024, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. So Olga, your attorney will be talking to you. Ms. Garrett will be talking to you. Everyone will. So if you want to join in for that, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
Okay. Unless, let's see, in June, unless you're like at the swimming pool or something and don't want to be bothered with us. And that's okay too. All right, then you take care and I'll see you back maybe in June.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for logging in.
Mm-hmm.
Parties. See you later. Streaming here in just a minute. And Ms. Taylor is making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take your announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Erica Flores is my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Ryan Turman on behalf of respondent mother Leah Garcia. She does not appear to be present today, although she usually is, but I'm present and ready.
Brooks Barfield from Humberto. I don't know where he is. I do not anticipate him being at this hearing, but I am present and ready to proceed.
Your Honor, I'm Tate Eldridge. I represent the unknown father, and I'm present and ready.
Okay.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Jalen.
All right. I don't have anybody else in the waiting room. So if I will watch, if Miss Garcia comes in, I will certainly let her in. Okay. So my understanding from reading the report and then also some emails, that the department is seeking an extension in the case.
Yes, ma'am.
To continue to work with mom. And I know that you guys have all agreed to that. And from my review of the report, I'm going to make a finding that there are extraordinary circumstances which would support granting the extension in the case. So I will grant the extension. And do we have a new dismissal date?
July 12th of 24, Your Honor.
July 12th, 24. Okay. All right. So we will extend, and that's our new dismissal date. So we'll go ahead and just conduct a review hearing today. And Ms. Flores, what's the update?
Jalen's doing great. She's in play therapy. She was sick in December. She had an ear infection. Mom knows. Other than that, she's doing really good. Caregiver is having a little bit of trouble. She's kind of picked up the insomnia again. The doctor has prescribed her on clonidine, and it's just to help her sleep a little bit. Mrs. DeLewis Henders believes it's just, old habits that she is picking back up because her mind is always going. But other than that, I mean, she is doing great. She's doing good. She's healthy. She's happy. They just came back from a cheer competition with foster sister, and Jalen has her little cheer suit, so she cheers on her sister also. So, I mean, caregiver's doing amazing. Jalen's doing great.
All right. So tell me about mom's progress.
Mom currently she's not working right now. I had asked her to call me or let me know if she, picked up a job, and I haven't heard anything. From my understanding, she still hasn't found a job. She's been unemployed since December 20th. She was working at the laundromat. The reason she was let go is because she was having a lot of car trouble, and apparently she was calling in a lot. I'm not sure because of that. So they finally had to let her go. Her car stopped working. The rims to her car had cracked, so it was causing her to have a ton of flats. She has then since fixed that, but she still doesn't have any tags on her car. She is attending Jennings counseling for the additional services for the domestic violence. I'm still waiting to hear back from Mr. Jennings on those notes. I still need one more parenting class. I have gave Leah DeLewis's number so that she can attend play therapy with Jalen. I do not think that she has yet called DeLewis. DeLewis hasn't heard from her. So that's really, I believe, the update on mom.
Okay. Do we think that she's still in this relationship with the younger child's father?
Yes, I have a picture of an undisclosed location. It's a picture of a male. Can't really tell if it's a Sias or not, but the person that took the picture did confirm that it was him. I requested a police call out on July 4th of last year. They had a domestic dispute. They had a domestic dispute, and Asias is there with dad, and they refer to each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. Leah had marks around her neck and had blood coming out of her left ear. I asked Leah about it. She claims that she's not with him.
Okay, she doing okay in her aftercare program?
I'm
Still-
sorry.
She's still attending her 12-step program? She's
Yes,
still
ma'am.
doing that? Okay,
Yes.
and drug tests have been negative, right?
Yes.
All right.
I got a couple of questions real quick, Yana.
Sure.
Ms. Flores, have you found any locating information for Umberto?
Oh, yes. It was brought to my attention that Leah didn't know the location of Humberto. It turns out that I did find him on Facebook. I called the last known number for dad. It didn't work, so I resubmitted an accurate search for him, and all the numbers that I called didn't work, but I do have a location. It is in Lubbock, and I will be there today. But all the other numbers are not working. I did speak to an ex-wife. It was brought to my knowledge that they were married and have 2 older children together. But from my understanding from the ex-wife that they do not wish to be involved with sister Jalen.
You said you do have an address of where he possibly lives?
Yes, and I will be headed over there today because I will be there in Lubbock today.
Okay. Can you also send that, or even after you verify whether that is him or not, to Mr. Barfield to make sure that he has the contact information?
Yes, of course. Yes.
And you only were able to speak to the ex-wife. You have yet to be able to speak to him or to verify that's him. Okay.
No, sir. I called every possible number on there. They belonged to somebody else or they were no longer in service.
But ex-wife did verify that she knew who Leah Garcia was and Jalen was.
She understood that there may have been another child involved. And she just said that she just hopes the best for Jalen.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Nothing further.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask Ms. Flores?
None for me, Your Honor.
No, ma'am. Mr. Trout stole all my thunder.
Sorry, Brooke.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
And Ms. Zavala, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Turman, anything to add today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Barfield?
No, Your Honor. Hopefully, the lead on my client is a good one, and Ms. Flores can get me some information, and I can at least get some written or phone calls, some sort of communication, stressing the importance of my client getting with me, so that I can actually do my job. So, nothing else to report.
Okay, Mr. Eldridge?
I have nothing, Judge.
Okay. All
Judge,
right.
we would have a request. We would ask that a mediation be ordered just so we can nail down where mom is wanting to go and what we are going to try to do. We would ask, set it out. I know we have the kind of companion case with it, so if we could maybe set it out 75 days or so we can get that next hearing on that case set in and then try to mediate everything.
Okay. So you want to go on both cases?
I believe so, Your Honor. I think that next hearing on the other case is in February. I haven't looked into that one yet, but yeah, I believe that it would be productive to try to get both of them dealt with, if we could at one time.
That would make the most sense to me too, Judge.
Yeah, let me look. Yeah, we have a setting on that one. It's the final set for February 6th. I was just looking. I don't remember. I'm not sure that case has been extended either. No, it's not. It has not been.
And I imagine I will be reaching out to everybody on that too, so we get an agreement so we can get all that taken care of.
Okay. All right, we can do. Y'all want an attorney mediator?
Probably so, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, Jalen's doing great in placement, and I do recommend that continue.
All right, then I will find that it would be a continuing danger to send the child home to the mom today. And so we'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue placement. I will order y'all to mediation. And we've already addressed the extension and granted that. So our next hearing will be May 9th of 2024, and that'll be a 9 o'clock docket. And then the final will be scheduled for July 11th of 2024, also on a 9 o'clock docket. For services. And we are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record. All right, we will go ahead and take announcements.
Andrea Chisholm for DFPS, and we are ready.
Stacey Grant on behalf of the mother, Miss Chenault. My client's present by telephone, and we're ready.
Stacey Zavala on behalf of the child.
All right. Ms. Chisholm, how many witnesses do we have today?
One, potentially two. I think we can get everything with one.
Okay. All right, then. If you want to call your first witness.
Yes, department calls Andrea Lewis. And were they notified of this hearing?
Yes.
And what were the circumstances or the allegations that led to your involvement in this case?
The case was referred to us from CPI. It's my understanding that Gabriel has some criminal charges that are pending. His father had attempted to rapper him, and CPI ended up putting him in the home with his mother, who agreed to work services with Family-Based Safety Services and the Texas Family First program.
And has a family plan of service been created for Ms. Chenault?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was she able to participate in the creation of that plan?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And did she receive a copy of that and acknowledge the services?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is the family plan of service on file with the court?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. And is it your opinion that Ms. Chenault's and the child's participation in the family preservation services are necessary to protect Gabriel's health, safety, and well-being?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And do you feel like a failure to participate in those services would be detrimental to Gabriel's well-being?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you asking the court today to enter an order requiring Ms. Chenault to participate in those preservation services?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you also asking that the family plan of service be made an order of this court?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking that Ms. Chenault participate in counseling, parenting classes, sexual abuse education, and then allow her children to participate in services as well?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you feel like needs to be made in order of this court at this time?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Grant?
Your Honor, may I make a brief request that we go off of YouTube in order to ask some questions regarding the child?
Any objection, counsel?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, I will then stop the live stream to protect confidentiality of the child hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Todd Alvey on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready to proceed, Your Honor. Tim Koval will be my witness. He's St. Francis Ministries Permanency Specialist.
Brooks Barfield, attorney for Marisol Garza, present and ready.
Aaron Molinax, attorney for Francisco Najera. I can't see him, but I'm guessing he's there with Marisol, and we're ready.
Sage Seal, attorney ad litem. I'm present and ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and we've got CASA present with us today. All right. I know that we had been set for a final in the case and that everybody agreed to the extension. in the case, I reviewed everything at the time that that request was made, and I find that there are extraordinary circumstances which would warrant the granting of an extension in the case. We'll set a new dismissal date. And Mr. Albee, have you all calculated that?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. Gail, have you got a new date?
I have July 13th of 2024.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we will set that as the new dismissal date in the case, and we'll just proceed and have a review hearing today. So what do we have new from St. Francis?
Judge, since the last court hearing, Marisol and Francisco relocated to Childress. They located an apartment, which they are currently residing in. They both have found employment, although I need for them still to provide me with proof of employment, but I have no reason to doubt that that they have the employment that they say that they have. Francisco got his driver's license situation straightened out, has a car that's legal with insurance and registration. As I said, Marisol has a part-time job at a local hotel in Childress. So they have made some strides. Counseling has continued for them. They've had family counseling. The parenting classes for Francisco, when I checked with CareNet, he was about half done with those. He had completed 2 and he has 2 more to go. Marisol has completed, I believe, a little over 30 of the 40 or so classes that she had to do with CareNet. So she had just a handful left that she's still working on.
Okay. And Mr. Koval, overall, how would you rate their stability at this point in time?
Well, I think it's great that they do have housing with utilities that are kind of built into the rent. And I think it's an income dependent type situation there in the apartment. So it's affordable for them. So that's good. The employment is good. The transportation is good. When I visited their apartment in December, the apartment was still a work in progress a little bit as far as furnishing it in a complete way so that the children would have beds and a place to sit. There were still quite a few things kind of in bags on the floor, and so we talked about reaching out to resources in the community and working on getting some more furnishings for the apartment. And another thing that kind of has happened as a byproduct of them moving to Childress is that and getting jobs is they have not been able to visit with the children quite as often as they were before when they were in town. So what we would like to see is for them to increase the visitation with the kids. Right now they're seeing them, what they told me, about once a week in a supervised setting with the grandparents. We'd like for them to increase that again as they can with their employment situation, and then move to unsupervised visits because we need to move in that direction so that they have time alone with their kids and can, start to establish some normalcy there with unsupervised visits.
So, okay, children are in Memphis?
Yes, the children are in Memphis with the children's great-grandparents.
Right. Okay. Parents are living in Childress. Trying to remember about how many miles apart. 45 miles?
It's about half an hour. Yeah. It takes about half an hour to get from one town to the other. 30 minutes.
All right. So I guess it's really as far as their ability to get there maybe more than once a week. Is it, is it financial? Is it, paying for the additional gas? Can they just do longer visits? Let's just talk about what's realistic.
Oh no, we go up there like more than once a week. It's just sometimes I get off late or I pull double shifts. And instead of me just working from like 6 in the morning till like 2 in the afternoon. I'm working from 6 in the morning, getting off at 2 and going back at 3 and staying there till 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. And that's just some reasons why I'm not gonna go and see my kids at 1 in the morning and be back here at 6 in the morning, you know,
Yeah.
and not being able to, you know, actually see them. So that's why I have the time. I don't have time to go because McDonald's, they don't got people who want to work there. And I'm like the only one who likes to show up. So they just call me in for whenever.
Okay. And I understand, I mean, I understand that, and it's very important for you all to be making a living and because that obviously directly impacts your stability. So how often do you think you all are averaging
Like going, like in what? Like
to go see the kids each week?
like maybe like 3 times a week. Cause sometimes I ask them if I could just have like, cause sometimes they work with me. I basically got 2 or 3 days off a week. And we go like basically 2 days because one day I rest. And then like another day, if I work like early and I get off early, then we'll go to Memphis.
Okay.
And we'll be back here by like 11 because the girls don't go to sleep till like 10:30 or something like that. Especially if she's like off of school days.
Yeah, because Irene goes to school.
Yeah. Are grandparents did they ever come into Childress?
I mean, like once.
Yeah, like
once or twice.
a couple times. When we first got the apartment, my grandma, she came and she kind of helped me out a little bit, you know, with my house, and she was kind of excited, and you know, she was just happy that we got stability and with bills on, because like the house we we had a house but it didn't have bills on, so she was actually kind of happy that, you know, we came here, got that going. And she did bring my daughters, and my daughters came to see me and everything. After that they left, but usually when she does have the chance to come in, she'll probably just stop by, but most of the time I'm not here because sometimes I go to work at 9 in the morning and I don't get off till like 1 or 2. And it's like I have to get off. So sometimes she'll just text me and she'll be like, come in here early, and I'll tell her like I can't see them. I'm at work right now. So
Okay. Well, you guys are like all working parents. I mean, you know, it's just there's only so many hours in the day, and it's, you know, it's figuring out how to make it all work. So, I mean, if Mr. Coble, if they're seeing the girls 2-3 times a week, and I know that for the duration of his visits may vary because it may vary on what time of day it is or whatever, but what's your thinking about when do we begin to ramp this up some? When do we begin some unsupervised contact? And
well, first, let me also add one other thing that we did since the last hearing. Francisco did have one positive drug test for THC. And I believe that was noted in there. And, you know, I don't know if that bears on your honor's thoughts about moving toward, you know, increasing visitation at all, but just wanted to mention that did happen. It's only been.
I wanted to say like, in the urine and hair follicle different, because didn't his urine come back clean, but his hair follicle came back dirty? And isn't the urine like right away, like of the drugs, or what is he doing right away? And isn't that what the urine's about? And didn't his urine come back clean?
I'll let Mr. Cole answer about the drug screens.
Give me just a moment to bring that up.
To answer your question, Ms. Garza, yes, a UA shows more of the here and now, or just within the last few days. A hair does show approximately 90 days.
Yes, he did have a negative UA and a positive hair follicle.
Okay. Was it a fairly low level, high level?
It was a fairly low level.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Nahara, are you still using anything that's got THC?
No, I haven't used since like last year in November, like not last year. Like, I mean, like before the case even started. So the only way I told Tim that I could have got that was when I went to my friend's house, and he had like, I was looking for him to see because he needed me to help him with his car to work on it. And I just walked in his house and it was like, I mean, it was smoked out. So, I mean, but I went in there looking for him. I didn't, you know, knock because he had music playing really loud in there. So I walked all the way to the back room to find him, and I walked back out. But I mean, you could barely see in there. So I mean, and that was in like July. So I mean, I haven't used since a long time ago because all my drug tests been coming back clean, all of them, every single one of them.
All right.
And Tim was actually supposed to drug test us like before court, and I was kind of hoping that would happen because I figured like he would have, you know, made a suggestion about, well, his drug test came back dirty. Well, then I was kind of hoping he would have drug tested us before court because I know it wouldn't have been any type of dirty at all. So,
well, I'm not going to let the hair test stand in the way of us continuing to move forward. As long as the UAs, your UAs stay negative and we don't get another hair test at a higher level or something, then I'm not going to get overly concerned about it. I mean, other than just to say, marijuana is illegal in Texas, so we're under those rules. So, I would, Mr. Cole, when was the last time you saw the home?
It was in December, and I will be seeing them within the next week.
Okay. Well, I would certainly like you to assess sort of the readiness of the home, not necessarily for the girls to be placed there right now. I'm not suggesting that, but the readiness of the home for the children to be there, for some unsupervised visitation. Do they have what they need for children this age? I don't know whether either of them are still taking naps. Some 3-year-olds do, some 4-year-olds do, some don't, so I mean, we just need to, make sure that the home is ready for these two particular young ladies.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Can I just show you our home right now? Because we're here. Because it's different than the last time Tim seen it. So
he's still going to have to come see it, but that's fine.
Okay, this is like the kitchen area right here. And here's like our stove, our sink or whatever. Got a fridge. This is like where the table's supposed to go right here, but we ain't got a table yet. But we have a friend in Memphis who has one, but we just haven't had a chance to bring it.
and this is the hot water, and this is cold water. Just
okay.
And then there's the front door. Here's our living room.
Okay.
And then the restroom's right here. We got a tub, toilet, sink, mirror. Then this is where the girls would be at, right here in this room.
Right here, but we're not really sure if this is like.
But this bed, this is like what we have for now. We have another one in Memphis that's a twin size, and we have the mattress. They're just in Memphis right now because, we were just waiting to bring it. We're gonna use someone's truck, but they just told us, when we actually need it at the moment, we could use it because he'll let me use it today, the truck to go get it. This is where Juliana's bed's gonna go. This is Irene's for now because I heard grandma, she's in a big bed.
Yeah, and Juliana's the one who's like right now she's sleeping in a playpen. So
we got a little dresser for them. We got a little closet for toys, and then this is our room right here.
Okay. All right. So it looks like y'all made a lot of progress maybe since Mr. Coble was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way different.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Judge would also like to ask for a recommendation from the therapist that's seeing Francisco and Marisol regarding unsupervised visits and what the therapist thinks is the right time frame for them being ready to do that.
Your Honor, would you like for me to give her a call?
No, Mr. Cole can check in with her, but I'm not going to tie anything to like a specific date today, but and I want to give everybody a chance to weigh in. I want to hear from everybody else before I start making decisions. So, but let's do that. Mr. Coble, anything else from St. Francis?
I think that's it, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Barfield.
Your Honor, only thing I would add is after the presentation we've seen, it looks like my client's both of these individuals making progress. I think we're at the point where, absent any bars, we would just request and it seems to me that based upon what I'm hearing for logistics and everything, it seems to me unsupervised for longer periods of times would actually work out a lot better than what they're doing right now based on their progress. So I would just ask that we move to some unsupervised based upon what's already previously been testified to.
Okay, and Ms. Mullinax?
And Your Honor, when I have been communicating with my client, he has asked for a monitored return. So that's what he's requesting. I understand that's got to be stepped up, but that's something he has asked for.
Okay. All right, we'll address that here in a few minutes. Okay, and Ms. Seal?
Your Honor, based on the permanency report that was submitted, the testimony today, I would be in agreement with beginning unsupervised visitation. I would like maybe to be one more drug test just to make sure that, that we're clean there. Although it doesn't sound like that should be a concern. But I think some prolonged unsupervised, if we're still moving towards a monitored return, if that's granted today, I think we need to make the leap and get started on that.
Okay. All right, and Casa?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to ask if I could make sure that I have an up-to-date contact number for the parents. I still have not had any contact with them since about June. But I would really love to come in on a couple of visits, just see how the kids interact with them. I love the progress. I'm super excited for y'all, but I would really like to see how the kids interact with them.
Okay. Ms. Garza and Mr. Nahara, CASA is very important in this case. And, the truth is what CASA tells me and has to say to me sometimes is the most important voice in the room, because they're not a party to the case. They don't have a client. They're just here to advocate for the kiddos. And so it's really important that she be able to, meet with you all, see you with the kids, see the home for that matter. So I don't know where we're having a communication problem, but I mean, have you all had a change in phone number or?
No, what we're doing is I still have the same phone number and I can actually get better contact now than I did, 4 months ago. I think it was way worse 4 months ago. Now I can, anyone can contact me now, but this coming up check, I do plan on buying a brand new phone. I mean, just a cheap one, from Walmart, so we can have communication with people. But my number that I still got now still works, and I can answer it almost any time of the day. So,
okay,
if she writes my number down, she will be able to contact us. Because I mean, her grandma still texts me off that number almost every day. So.
Okay. So since we're on YouTube, I don't necessarily want you to say it over YouTube, but Ms. Mullinax, Mr. Barfield, you all have that. You have that number, correct?
I believe we do, Your Honor. Actually, what we can do is after we finish the hearing, if we go out to a brief breakout room, I can just confirm that.
Yeah.
And if CASA wants to join or has the ability to join in the breakout room, that would be great too. Or
okay.
Anybody that wants to. I think I'd like to get the communication issue fixed today. Sure. In the simplest way we can do it. I'm sure we do have numbers. Marisol, we have the number and everything at the office, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that the same number we've been talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if we could do that, Judge, even if you have other hearings, we could do that and then we can just leave the meeting from there.
Yeah. This is the last thing I have for this morning. So okay. I can just, when we're done, we'll just shut down YouTube and then y'all can exchange all that.
We don't even need a breakout room, just as long as we're not just as long as we're not on YouTube. That'd be great.
Okay. Then what I would like to do is I agree with Ms. Seal. I'd like to have one more drug screen. And if there's no problems there, then I would like for St. Francis to, everybody knows how I love this word, staff the beginning stages of, unsupervised visits, what that's going to look like, how that's going to work around parents' work schedule and, transporting the children, all that. Obviously, that starts with no overnights. It's just, we're going to start, I think, because of the drive. I mean, I would hate to see you do less than 4 hours, quite frankly. So I'd like to kind of start there and then we can sort of move it up. With respect to the monitored return, since I've granted the extension of the case today, I'm I'm not going to grant a monitored return. I'm just going to tell the St. Francis what I really want is let's start with ramping up the unsupervised access. And then if everything goes smoothly and they've got everything they need, then we will work towards placement of the children back at home with parents. And I could see that happening, even as quickly as maybe in the next 30 days or about 30 days from now, if things really go well. So, parents, you all got to be you got to be looking down the road too about getting ready to have the children and have the full responsibility of them. Daycare, what school situation it's going to look like, what daycare looks like, how is all that going to work? And then, what they're going to want to know is, all right, what's your support system going to be? Hopefully, grandparents will still, continue to be helpful and be able to help y'all. But, it's also important maybe you have somebody right there in Childress too. So they'll sit down with you guys and talk to you about what you really need to be looking at. So, we're really talking about a reunification plan is what we're really talking about. It gets you basically the same place as the monitored return. There's a few little legal differences there, but y'all are really making good progress. I'm very encouraged at what I'm seeing, and you've done a nice job getting your apartment furnished. And so, I think finish getting the things you need, finish getting that table, get that other bed, and then I think everybody understands what direction we're moving. Anybody got any questions?
No, Your Honor.
And I'm happy for y'all to go ahead and get the therapist recommendation, and I think unless that individual has some big, huge, valid concern why this isn't in the children's best interest, then, I want to move forward with the reunification plan. But like I said, we're not talking about something that's going to happen this weekend or even next week. Bottom line, I'll say this to the parents. This is about the children, and we want it to work for the children. So a lot of times we just need to kind of ease into these things. So, okay. All right. I think we got a plan.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I'll continue the children's current placement. I'm going to make a finding that we're not really ready for the kids to go home, today, but that we're working in that direction. And I will order St. Francis to get a reunification plan put together with the input of the parents, obviously. And then I will see everybody back for our next review hearing, April 24th. And that'll be on a 9:00 docket. And then our final will be scheduled for June 26th of 2024 on a 9:00 docket. My hope is we'll be ready to dismiss out of this case long before June. So, as long as everybody keeps doing what they're doing, then I think we'll be okay. So, Mr. Abbey, I find the parents are in compliance with their service plans, and let's get a reunification plan going.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Then I'm going to shut down the live stream so you guys can make sure everybody's got good contact info. Final. I'll be back reset on a number of occasions, but anyway, we are together today and we are going to proceed. And we are doing this through the Zoom program under a finding of a good cause and consent and agreement of the parties. Excuse me. We're also live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready on.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Sylvia Melton. She's present. We're ready.
William Taylor appointed to represent Ashton Lee. I've had no contact with him. He's not present. I am ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Harvey and Emma.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Trout, who's your first witness?
Becky Amos, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Melton, if you can get your camera, if you can get situated somewhere and yeah, be sure that you're in on the screen and on your camera.
Okay.
That's especially important when you are speaking for the court reporter to be able to see you.
Okay.
And how long have you been in that role?
About 7 years.
And are you familiar with the case we're here talking about today?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I received a report on them on August 3rd, 2022.
And what did that report and intake regard?
It was neglectful supervision of the kids by Sylvia. The children were left at home for several days. Emma left the house and was found at a convenience store trying to buy food. She had no money and was wearing a diaper. She was not verbal and thought to have a delay. The police knocked on the door when they found her home. Her siblings and two step siblings were alone. They had been alone for several days due to the parents being in the hospital for days. The oldest child initially said the parents were working. Then when pushed for information, he stated the parents were in the hospital and his step grandfather would come check on them and bring food.
Okay. And you said several days. Do we know exactly how many days? Just were you ever made aware of that?
Don't believe so. I think it was like 3 or 4 days.
Who did you find to be the parents of the children?
Sylvia Milton and Corey Paisley.
And Corey Paisley was stepdad to Emma and Harvey, is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Were you able to make contact with Sylvia Milton?
Yes, she left the hospital when she found out CPS was at her house.
Okay. And you said that the girl, Emma, was found on the street at a convenience store. How old was Emma at the time?
She was 9.
She was 9. And out on the street by herself?
Yes.
And was she found to have left the home a couple of times?
Yes, 2 times that day.
Okay. What was your interaction with Ms. Melton like?
Well, at first it was good, and then I went back later that day and she was found to be intoxicated.
So on the day that you went back to interview her, did she initially open the door?
No, she wouldn't open the door.
Okay. And then she eventually came to the door and you said she was intoxicated. Did you notice anything in particular?
Yeah, she was slurring her words and she smelt like alcohol, and she admitted she had been drinking.
Okay. When you were discussing this with her, did she admit to you that she had in fact left the children home alone for several days?
Yes.
Did she ever state why they were not left in the care of an adult?
There wasn't anyone.
Now you said that the children mentioned that their step grandfather would come bring them food and check on them.
Yes.
But he was not staying with them.
Correct.
Where was the stepdad at this time, Mr. Paisley?
He was in a BSA hospital.
So he was still in the hospital. So when you went back to check and mother opened the door and appeared intoxicated, she was the only one taking care of the children at that time.
Correct.
As far as the other children, did Mr. Paisley, he consented to the children being taken to the department?
Yes.
Did he seem to be aware that mother was intoxicated while taking care of the children?
Yes.
And was it due to the children or the girl, 8-year-old girl, leaving the home on her own and wandering the street? Did you deem it necessary to ask for removal of the children on exigent circumstances?
Yes,
Due to the mother being intoxicated and being the only caregiver at the time?
yes,
And do you believe that was in the best interest of the children?
yes.
Do you know, did any criminal charges come of this that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
You're aware of, okay. Did Miss Melton say anything else to you as far as caring for the children, or whether she could care for them at the time?
No.
When you went to remove the children and notify her of that, how did that interaction go?
I met with her and Corey at the hospital the next day.
Was she okay with you picking up the children?
Yes.
Okay. Did she yell at the children and told them to come on, that CPS was taking them?
Yes.
Was there an officer there with you when that happened?
Yes.
And you do believe that due to her being the primary caretaker, being intoxicated, the dangers of the children wandering the streets by themselves, it was in the children's best interest to remove them at the time?
Yes.
Where were the children placed?
Were
they just placed in a foster home?
Yes.
Were you able to find any family that could possibly take them, or did you look into whether a family could?
No.
No, I'm sorry. No, you weren't able to find. No, you didn't look. I'm not sure.
No, I wasn't able to find.
Okay. All right. Did you look? Did you speak to any family members about it?
I spoke to her mother.
Okay. And was she found to be appropriate?
No.
And why was that?
I'm sorry, I didn't speak to her mother. I spoke to Ashton Lee's mother.
Okay.
The paternal grandmother.
And was she able to tell you where Ashton was?
Yes, she told me he was in prison in Oklahoma.
Okay. During your part of the investigation, were you ever able to get in touch with Ashton Lee?
No.
Okay. And that is the name of the potential father that Miss Melton had given you?
Yes.
Later on, did Miss Melton make any concerning statements to you?
Not that I recall.
Okay. But you do believe that due to the circumstances, it was in the best interest of the children to remove?
Yes.
Okay. Did Miss Melton tell you that she was an alcoholic or drank?
Yeah, she told me she was a functioning alcoholic.
Okay. And was there anything else to that statement?
She said she had a drink or she would get sick.
But she referred to herself as a functioning alcoholic?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness at this time.
All right. Michelle?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Taylor?
Judge, I'm sorry, may I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure.
Why is it that Ms. Melton's mother, Jean Stormont, was determined to not be an appropriate placement for the children at that time?
I don't believe I talked to her. I talked to paternal grandmother.
Oh, paternal grandmother. Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. No questions then.
Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor?
I have no questions of witness.
All right, and Ms. Apollo?
Miss Amos, is it correct that Emma is autistic?
Yes.
Very low verbal?
Yes.
And so when she was found by herself at a convenience store, did she have a way to really communicate with those there?
No.
And you said she was found wearing a diaper
Yes,
and there was no one else with her?
no.
How far away was the convenience store away from the house?
It was a few blocks. I would say maybe 2 blocks.
I pass the witness.
Okay. Mr. Trout, any further questions of this witness?
No further questions of this witness, Sharon.
All right. Anybody have anything else they want to ask Ms. Amos?
I do have just a couple of questions after all, Young. Was Ashton Lee the only person ever identified as the father of the 2 children?
Yes.
And other than Ms. Melton identifying that he was in prison in Oklahoma, what efforts were made to locate him?
What efforts were made to locate him?
Yes.
His mother told me he was there.
His mother, okay. When you looked for him, he wasn't there?
Yes, I believe he was there.
He was there.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get in contact with him?
I didn't. I mailed him the removal paperwork. I never received it back.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything for Ms. Amos?
Ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
One quick question. Ms. Amos, following up on what Mr. Taylor asked you, did his mother state that she would try to reach out to him on your behalf and see if he would reach back?
Yes.
And that she was not able to, or he never reached back out to you?
He never reached out.
Okay. All right. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. One last crack. Anybody got anything further for Ms. Amos? Because she's got her finger on the button, I guarantee you. All right. I'm not hearing anything. So is Ms. Amos free to leave?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Amos, you're free to go. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
All right, you can call your next witness, and it appears we did get Ms. Storment logged in.
Your Honor, I'm going to call a little bit out of turn on this one, but I would ask Ms. Rankins here. I was going to try to get her in and out if we could.
Okay, sure.
So I call Jenny.
Hello.
All right, Ms. Rankins.
Can y'all
don't-
see me?
No, I don't have any video.
I don't know how to change that. Everything I click on, it's an option to stop video. So that would indicate that it was running, or I would think.
You might try the button at the top of your computer screen and slide it over the other direction.
Yeah, it's like your camera may be turned off.
Oh, hello. Okay.
All right. You may proceed.
Ms. Rankin, would you state your name for the record, please?
It's Jenny Rankin,
And Ms. Rankin, how are you employed?
through Potter Randall Adult Probation.
Okay. And are you familiar with the mother we're speaking of today, Sylvia Melton?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with her?
I took over supervision from Ms. Melton in July of 23.
And so is Ms. Melton on probation at this time?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me what she's on probation for?
She's currently on for abandoned and endangered child with intent to return.
Okay. And is she on currently on straight probation or deferred?
It's deferred adjudication.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits number 1 and 2. They're the certified copies of exhibit number 1 is the indictment against Ms. Melton, and exhibit number 2 is the order for deferred adjudication in this case we're speaking of.
Okay, then petitioners exhibits 1 and 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rankin, you said this was she was on deferred probation for abandoning and endangering a child.
Yes, sir. As of June 22nd, 2023 is when she was placed on.
Okay. And according to the indictment, this is from the 3rd day of August in 22 was the incident.
Let me verify that. Yes, sir.
which would correspond with the date of removal of the children in the recent removals. How many times you said you took over this case in July, you said?
In July, I don't believe Sylvia never met her previous officer. There was a conflict of interest in that, and so it was just passed off to me.
Okay. How many times have you met with Ms. Melton?
I've met with Sylvia 2 times, I believe, possibly 3, with one of those times just being a very quick interaction because of her being late.
Okay.
If that's the case.
How often do you try to meet with?
Monthly.
Monthly.
At the very least monthly.
So you've had this case for approximately 6 months?
Yes, sir.
And you've only been able to meet 2, maybe 3 times?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you met with her?
The last time that we had contact was November 11th, 2023.
Okay. Did she, I guess you'd say no call, no show December?
Yes. There've been several appointments scheduled throughout, whether they were sent through email or via mail, US mail. And so several appointments have been scheduled and all have been missed.
Okay. Do you know where Ms. Melton lives right now?
The address I have on file for her is 26 that or
well, maybe not. Let's not say the address.
okay. I have an address on file, which I know is a different address, as I had attempted visits originally at her mom's and she wasn't there. And so then she finally came and gave me this address.
Okay. Do you know if she actually lives there?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know whether this was supposed to be her place or a friend's place? Do you know?
I believe she was staying with a friend is what she had reported to myself.
Okay. During any of your meetings, has Ms. Melton admitted to any drug or alcohol use while on probation? When was that?
Whenever she had reported in on November 9th, she had admitted to use of methamphetamine, marijuana, and alcohol.
Okay. Did she give you a range of when those uses were?
Yes, for the methamphetamine, it was, let me go look at this because on my note I didn't. For the methamphetamine, she had noted every other day beginning June 22nd through November the 8th of 2023. Marijuana daily between the dates of June 22nd through November the 8th of 2023. And then alcohol on or about October 23rd, 2023.
So would you say at this time, is Ms. Melton I guess you'd say a model probationer?
No, sir.
Is she out of compliance with her probation?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And is today on screen the first time you've seen her since November?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any other issues with Ms. Melton while she's been on probation?
Just not report. I mean, no, not really. We discussed her going to treatment on a few different occasions, on the 2 different occasions. She'd been referred to mental health services. She was encouraged to cooperate and to work with Christina Hunter through St. Francis, and to maybe give this a shot. And she appeared on board and said the words to indicate she was on board, and I haven't had contact with her since.
To your knowledge, has she taken up any of the offers for substance treatment or mental health services?
No, not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hill?
No questions for this witness.
Okay. Mr. Taylor?
No question, John.
Ms. Valla?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
One quick question. Ms. Rankin, what is your what does it look like going forward with Ms. Melton in probation right now?
At this point, a report of violation to be filed for her to obtain treatment through the state.
Okay, all right. And when you say obtain treatment, is that you're meaning to have her ordered to?
Yes, sir. An intermediate sanctions facility, which would be a lockdown facility.
Okay, okay. Is that also, that's ISF is what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. No, nothing further, Your Honor. Pass.
Ms. Rankin, has there been any kind of motion filed regarding her deferred?
No, ma'am, not at this time. We're going on time frame. I was going to make another attempt to try to get in touch with her. And then once we have the 90 days of no contact, then that would be going through.
Okay.
She has a standing appointment as of right now, which she's had several standing appointments and those have been missed.
Okay. How many has she missed since November?
One moment. Four appointments, 5 appointments because she was scheduled for the 8th. A failure to report letter. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, Judge. That failure to report letter was sent on the 8th. All of those appointments have either been given directly to the client or have been sent via text or failure or mail correspondence.
Okay. So the next step, if there's no further contact, would be probably a motion to proceed to sentencing and then
Recommending ISF. Yes.
ISF. Yep. All right. I appreciate it. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Ms. Rankin?
Judge, I don't have any questions, but Ms. Melton is indicating to me via text message that she would like to just go ahead and sign a relinquishment and be done with this today, if that's possible.
Let me, do you want a breakout room with her for a moment, Mr. Hill, or?
Judge, I really don't think that's probably necessary. I've had this conversation with her several times and she understands what it means and what it is. And up till now, she has indicated that she didn't want to sign one, but now she's indicating by text that she wants to sign it and be done.
Okay. Let me, I guess it's the logistics. You know, obviously what I'd like to do is see if we couldn't arrange for her to either go to your office or for the department to meet her or something. So I welcome anybody's suggestions on what would be the easiest thing to do. Ms. Melton, do you have a vehicle?
No, I don't, but I can get there.
All right, Ms. Hunter, what would be the easiest thing for you all to meet at Mr. Hill's office, or what's the best course here?
I'm downtown, by the way.
I would have to refer to Mr. Trout on that one because I don't participate in the signing of the relinquishments.
Judge, they can, if we're downtown too, so if they can get to Mr. Hill's office, or if they want to come here, we have notaries and witnesses down here at the courthouse, and we'll have the paperwork to file there.
Jeff, would you have enough people around to witness anything?
It might be better if we go to the courthouse. It's just a couple blocks from my office, so.
And that'd probably be easier, Judge, if we keep out the middleman having to send back and forth too many times. We'll have it and we'll file it as soon as it gets done.
All right. So I assume that Mr. Trout, you all can start preparing those relinquishments. Mr. Hill can get to your office, then Ms. Melton will need to get there. So I don't know whether Ms. Hunter, I don't know whether you need to get her and transport her to the courthouse.
I can get a ride.
I couldn't hear you.
I can get a ride to you. Wherever it needs to go, I can get her right there.
I think she said wherever she needs to go, she can get a ride.
Okay.
You can hear me.
All right. Well, what I would like to do is get this done and then come back this afternoon and prove it up and finish this.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I will just tell you all, I think, let's see, Miss Katie, is my meeting with CASA at 4 or 3? Oh, I'm sorry. She had to leave for a minute. Y'all let me look at the calendar real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
And may I speak real quick, Judge?
It's at 4 o'clock. So,
Judge, can you see? Can I direct and encourage Sylvia to report, as the report of violation does not have to be her fate? There are still treatment options that we can come to an agreement on should she report. And so I would encourage you to report to me, Sylvia, as you're scheduled, okay?
When are we scheduled again?
I have you scheduled on January the 23rd at 10:30. Thank you. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. I second what you just said. Ms. Melton, it'd be the best thing in the world for you if you'll just report to Ms. Rankin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my meeting is not till 4 o'clock, so we've got, you think y'all could have this all done by, say, 3:30?
You're muted, Daniel. As far as I'm concerned, I can be there in 5 minutes, so.
We're here and I'm open the rest of the afternoon, so as quick as they can get here and get it done, we can have it
I
done.
don't need to say nothing.
Okay, then Ms. Melton, you need to get to the Potter County Courthouse, and it's the older of the two buildings. It's one that has the big, pretty lawn area out front. And probably the best thing to do is just meet your attorney maybe on the first floor down there. However y'all want to do it. Okay, then.
I'm just here not to be heard.
Well, Ms. Storman, I know this is very frustrating, but you've not been called as a witness and you aren't a party to the case. So I'm sorry, but so Ms. Melton, you need to, how long will it take you to get downtown? Ms. Melton, how long will it take you to get downtown? I couldn't understand.
30 minutes or so, is that okay?
I believe she said 30 minutes. Sylvia, just shake your head yes if that's what you said.
Yes.
Would it be faster for Ms. Hunter to come get you? And
That'll
Christina,
be fine.
can you do that, Christina?
I can, yes, ma'am, if necessary, but it will take longer than 30 minutes. I'm in Canyon.
Oh, okay. That's not helpful. Okay, then Ms. Melton, just get your ride and try to get.
I can get a ride and be there. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Okay, just be there as quickly as you can, and then why don't we all log back in about, let's shoot for 3:15. I was going to say maybe we could go ahead and proceed with any testimony we've got about Mr. Lee. Because it's going to take her longer, obviously, to get to the courthouse than it will Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, do you have any objection if she goes ahead and logs off and heads to the courthouse and we go ahead and do what we need to do regarding Mr. Lee real quickly?
No, ma'am. I will just stay on long enough until 5 minutes from half an hour. I'll stay on for 25 minutes and then I'll go meet her at the courthouse.
Okay, we should be done, I would think. So, okay, Ms. Melton, you can go ahead and log out and head down there.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Hill, then are you going to be calling Ms. Stormont or is she free to leave?
Well, not at this point anymore, Judge. It's not relevant.
Okay, then Ms. Stormont.
Why can't I have the children? I don't understand why I can't have the children.
Okay, well, Ms. Stormont, you're free to go at this point in time. They're not going to call you as a witness.
Of course not.
Thank you for appearing, ma'am.
Yeah, Karen, they're my grandchildren.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would ask if I have no further questions of Ms. Rankin. If nobody else does, I would ask if she could be released.
Anybody have any objection to releasing her at this time?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Rankin, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Rankin. I would call Christina Hunter would be my next witness. And how are you familiar with that case?
I've been the primary worker on this case since removal.
And you were also provided the name of Ashton Lee as the father, is that correct?
I was, yes.
Have you ever had any contact with him?
No, I have not.
How often what are your efforts to try to find him?
We try to locate him every single month. We have to make a minimum of 3 attempts through different resources to be able to try to make contact, whether that be Google searches, Facebook searches, accurate searches, diligent searches, asking relatives, friends, family members, anything like that, if they've had any contact.
And have you ever found any good contact information for him?
I was able to find that he was in jail over in Oklahoma, but by the time I was able to locate that information, he had already been out of the jail.
And since then, no contact?
None.
no good information?
And no, he was also locked up over in, I think they call it Bear. I call it Bexar, but Bear County. He was also down there as well, but again, he had already been out of the jail by the time the information was found.
Okay. And so we've been in this case now for about 17 months?
Yes.
Okay. And you've had it that whole time?
Yes.
And so you said you required to make at least 3 efforts a month. So you're looking at 3 times about 17. So we'll just say 60 times close.
I'm gonna let you do the math. I'm a
Okay.
social worker.
We'll say less than 60, but somewhere in that range.
Something like that, yeah.
And have never been able to make contact.
No.
Okay. Did you receive the exhibits I sent out?
Yes.
And before I get into that, but do you do service plans for cases?
I do.
And what are service plans?
We do 2 different kinds of service plans. We do a child service plan, and we also do a family plan of service as well. The family plans of services are created for the parents that are in the case. And sometimes if there's paramours involved that are going to be active members of that child's life, we'll even create them for them as well.
Did you generate service plans for this case?
I did.
And did you generate one for Ashton Lee?
I did.
And now we already established we had no contact, but were service plans made in order of the court?
Yes, they were.
Can you tell me what exhibit number 5 is?
The family plan of service for Ashton Lee.
And is this a accurate copy of the service plans that you generated for him?
Yes, it is.
And it was filed with the court?
Yes, it was.
And they were made orders of the court?
Yes.
I know it seems to be an odd question, but did he ever work any services throughout the life of this case?
No.
And there's been no contact?
Correct.
Were there paternity registry searches run on this case that you know?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Can you tell me what exhibits number 6 and 7 are?
Did you intend to offer 5? Or
Oh,
are you just going to offer them all in the group?
I'll offer them all in a second, Your Honor.
Yeah.
That is the paternity registry search.
Okay. And do they indicate that anybody has attempted to claim paternity of Emma or Harvey?
No.
Your Honor, I've asked to admit exhibit number 5, 6, and 7. Exhibit number 5 is the copy of the family plans of service that were made order of the court. Exhibits number 6 and 7 are the paternity registry searches indicating that nobody has attempted to claim paternity.
Okay, any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioners exhibits 5, 6, and 7 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hunter, is the department asking today to terminate the parental rights of the alleged father, Ashton Lee, for one, failure to work services? There's been no contact with him, so constructive abandonment, and also failure to register with the paternity registry.
Yes,
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the children?
I do.
How are the children now?
They're doing wonderful.
And are they placed in a possible long-term home?
Yes.
And is that home, are they licensed yet, or are they waiting to see what was to happen?
They're already a licensed foster home, but they're willing to potentially adopt if the children do become available.
Okay. But both children are doing well?
Yes, they're doing really well and thriving and growing like little weeds.
Good. And you do believe that termination of the father's parental rights at this time, or the alleged father's parental rights at this time, would be in their best interest?
I do.
I'll pass the witness this time around.
Okay, Mr. Hill, any questions?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Taylor?
Like you, Ms. Hunter, every time I got any information indicating where Mr. Lee might be, he was gone from that location by the time I looked. So I've had no contact with him either. I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zamora?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Trupp, then, unless you have anything else from Ms. Hunter regarding Mr. Lee, then we'll recess.
I have nothing further right now, Your Honor.
Okay. I know I said 3:15 earlier, but we're gonna make it 3:30. Miss Taylor texted me and she has transportation responsibilities.
And if it's like, if we can get back on at 2:45, if they're ready, I just need to leave here at 3:00. So if we can do it before, I'll just be right here handy.
Okay. Just y'all, I'm gonna leave the feed up, so I guess just, you know, somebody hop on and shout at me and we'll give Mr. Hill time to get back to his office and everybody to get where they're gonna get if you get it done before 3:30. Otherwise 3:30 is okay, Amy? Okay.
And Miss Amy, it's okay, we'll probably bench file instead of working through the clerks right now, so we don't have to wait on that. I just emailed a copy of the relinquished to everybody on the that I sent exhibits out to.
Okay, we'll print it, I'll stamp it, and we'll go that route. Then we'll get it downstairs. Do I have to rub up?
Your courtroom, Judge, I'm good.
You look great.
I think you look pretty in white.
I'm not gonna lie, I turned my camera on, I was like, ooh, Jess looks fancy.
I usually just have one outfit. Not all bad though. Okay. Let's see. Let me get here I need to be. Okay. All right, Mr. Trout.
Yes, ma'am, and it's been a while since I've done this, but Miss Hunter, were you able to get the emails that I just sent?
Look, I even still have my bench stamps. All right, Dana, go ahead.
Is Ms. Zavala back? Her camera's off. I'm not sure if she's okay.
Sorry, I'm here.
No, you're good. Ms. Hunter,
Yes, sir.
was you received the email that I just sent out with an exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me what that document is?
It's a voluntary relinquishment.
Okay. Have you had time to review it?
I have.
Did the respondent mother execute that affidavit of voluntary relinquishment on January 11th of 2024?
Yes.
You had time to review it.
Yes.
Did respondent mother Sylvia Melton, did she sign the relinquishment?
Yes, she did.
Were there two witnesses to that relinquishment?
Yes, there were.
Is it notarized?
It is.
Did the department consent to being the designated managing conservator of the child?
Yes.
Judge, I would ask to bench file the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that was sent out to everybody just a minute ago.
I think the judge just fell out.
Uh-oh. I will wait then.
Never good when your judge falls out.
Probably not a choice, but to wait.
She was like, I'm done fighting.
We can only talk about her because she's not here. So, oh wait, we're being recorded. Scratch that, Amy. Scratch that.
You hear me okay? Because last time you couldn't.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to tell everybody that I understand the situation and the problem behind me, that I'm doing this for my children so they can have a future. And I know their future isn't with me, and they're going to do great things. And that's why I went ahead and just signed them away. I didn't just sign them away. It was the best thing for them, and that's what matters right here. Not me, not y'all, not anybody else, them. And I wanted to at least let y'all know that, because I love them so much that I don't want them to live my life. I want them to live a better life. And I hope y'all understand that.
And we do.
Moms, that's anybody.
And we do understand it, Ms. Melton, and I appreciate you doing the unselfish thing today and doing what's best for the children. Okay, Mr. Trout.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
Mr. Trout, you can proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hunter, did respondent mother execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment on January 11th of 2024?
Yes, sir.
And have you had the opportunity to review that relinquishment?
Yes, sir.
Did the respondent mother sign the relinquishment?
Yes, she did.
Were there two witnesses to that relinquishment?
Yes, there are.
Is it notarized?
It is.
Has the department consented to being the designated managing conservator of the children?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that we could bench file the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that was sent out earlier.
Okay, then I have filed mother's voluntary affidavit of relinquishment.
Ms. Hunter, are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of Sylvia Melton as to the children solely upon her voluntary relinquishment?
Yes,
And do you believe that is in the best interest of the children?
I do.
And we spoke on it earlier, but are you also asking the court to terminate the parental rights of the alleged father, Ashton Lee, based upon failure to work services, constructive abandonment, and failed to register with the paternity registry?
Yes,
And you believe that that is in the best interest of the children?
I do.
Your Honor, I'd also ask to admit exhibit number 9 as the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment.
Okay, any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, exhibit 9 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further from the department?
Nothing from the department, Your Honor. We would rest and close.
Okay, Mr. Hill, anything to present today?
No, ma'am. Rest and close.
Okay, Mr. Taylor?
No, Your Honor. Rest and close.
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
No, Your Honor, I would rest.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make?
Yes, I do believe that it's in the best interest of both children that the parental rights for both parents be terminated at this time.
All right, at this time, then, I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the children to terminate the parental rights between the children and their mother, Sylvia Milton, based on her voluntary affidavit of relinquishment of parental rights, and only on that basis, other than the best interest of the children. And that would be under the K grounds and then under 161.001(b)(2). I find by clear and convincing evidence it is in the best interest of the terminate the parental rights between if any, between the alleged father, Ashton Lee, based on his failure to register with the paternity registry under Texas Family Code 161.002 subsection B2. At this time, I will name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator of both children. I will continue both children's placements. I am going to make a finding that the department used reasonable efforts to reunify the family, and those efforts were not successful. I will also dismiss all court-appointed counsel from the case after the appropriate de novo and appellate timeframes expire. So as always, counsel, be mindful your de novo timeframe does begin to run since I've rendered in open court. And please do not file a notice of appeal until a final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. Okay, Ms. Zavala will obviously remain in the case, and that review hearing will be March 21st of 2024 on a 9 o'clock docket. So again, Ms. Melton, I appreciate you doing what you believe to be in the best interest of your children. I know it's a very difficult thing to do, but I thank you for putting them first. All right, everybody, I appreciate everybody staying with us this afternoon, and I'm going to let everybody get going where they need to go. So thank you all very much, and that will conclude our afternoon docket.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thanks, Judge. I'll see you next week.
Thanks.